Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Said Sadid Al Yahya, Group 3 of Abbasid Caliphate class, PSCI 5011, Section 1. So today's topic will be Izzuddin Abdus Salam. He is a man of a famous mujtahid, also a theologian, a jurist, and a leading Shafi authority of this generation. His full name is Izzuddin Abdul Aziz ibn Abdus Salam ibn bin Qasim ibn al-Hassan al-Dimashqi, aka as the Sultan al-Ulama. He was born in Damascus in 577 al-Hijrah, or in the Gregorian calendar, 1181 AD. He received his education in Damascus by scholars as Ibn al-Shakir and Jamal ad-Din al-Harstani in sacred law. In usul al-fiqh, he was with Saif al-Din al-Amidi, and in theology and tasawwuf with Zuhra al-Wadi and Abdul Hassan al-Shahidi. He is famous for his imprisonment in Damascus as a sermon giver or khatib of the Umayyad mosque. He openly defied what he considered to be unsanctioned customs, followed by other sermon givers. He refused to wear black, refused to say his sermons in rhyme proses, and refused to praise the princes. When the ruler as-Salih al-Ismail made capitulatory concessions to Theobald during Baron's crusade, Ibn Abdus Salam condemned him from the pulpit and omitted mentioning him in the post-sermon prayer. Thus, this led to the consequences of him being jailed and upon release emigrated to Egypt. So, Izzuddin wrote many books in various disciplines. For example, he wrote a complete commentary on the Quran, giving particular attention to the linguistic points that makes the meaning easier to grasp. His most valuable book, known as Qawaid al-Ahkam fi Masalih al-An'am, has been commended by scholars in all generations. This is a book of fiqh which explains that all Islamic commandments and prohibitions are aimed to ensure the benefits of men. Nothing works against people's interest. Adhering to these orders is certain to bring the benefit to men, especially to those both scholars and students. So, among his books of tasawwuf are Shajarat al-Ma'rif wal-Ahwal wal-Salih al-Aqwal wal-A'mal, the tree of gnostics, sciences and states, and pious sayings and deeds. Second was the Mukhtasar Riyad al-Muhasibi, an abridgment of al-Muhasibi's book on the observance of the rights of Allah. Third is the Masail al-Tariqa fi Ilm Haqiqa, questions of the Sufi path concerning the knowledge of reality, in which Al-Izz al-Din answered 60 questions regarding tasawwuf.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today I'm going to talk about the journey of life of Izzuddin Abdus Salam. After having persecuted in prison and persecuted in Damascus, he left to Egypt and settled down in Cairo, where he was appointed as a chief judge and imam of a Friday prayer in public mosque at Egypt. After gaining such public influence, he could command the right and wrongdoing of the people of the Egypt with the force of law, and that's how he became famous in Egypt, although he was born in Damascus.
Now we'll be focusing on Al-Maqasid al-Sharia, the comprehensive objective of Sharia by Al-Izzuddin Abdus Salam, in the words of Ibrahim al-Nakai, which died in 96 Hijriah, as verily the rulings of Allah have their own specific objective, which are reflected as benefit and wisdom upon the mankind. With the same understanding, classical jurist Al-Izzuddin bin Abdus Salam claims that the greatest of all of the objective of the Quran is to facilitate benefit or masalih, and the means that secure for them, and that the realization of benefit also included the prevention of harm. It could be comprehended from his word that all the obligations of the Sharia were predicated on securing benefits for the people in this world and the next, and it is the duty of Muslims to discover them and thus observing those objectives in their life and during the implementation of those duties. Al-Izzuddin bin Abdul Salam emphasized more on the notion of protection and preservation. The word hifz, protection, has been recognized as an ultimate objective of Sharia. Al-Izzuddin bin Abdul Salam, despite of his general statement of maslahah as mentioned earlier, which is the general meaning of maqasid, happened to seclude the meaning of maslahah into the connotation of hifz or protection. With such extensive a concept of maslahah, it could be interpreted as infusing a real substance into the external share of Islamic rulings and law. Thus, proof that moral obligation is related to divine omnipotence and will, and how the former in fact necessarily flows from the latter. With the proper understanding of such philosophy, the application of the true understanding of revelation could avoid the legal positivism approach, which acts according to the formulated law without responding to the moral consequences of it. Above all, the whole idea of maqasid implies a comprehensive implementation of justice in the community through the preservation and promotion of human well-being, which is the ultimate aim of a governance process. Maqasid, as a part of epistemological process in Islam, is becoming a foundation to define human well-being. Thus, the articulation of Islamic ethos that might be useful for governance, such as social equilibrium, justice, sustainable development, rule of law, efficiency, empowerment, etc., will be taken under the shade of this maqasidic based on human well-being consideration.